What do you see around you?
It's Apollo. And he's very, very vibrant. He has a big yellow halo all around him. He's radiating so much light.
And where are you located?
I feel like I'm not quite sure where I am, but I feel like it's a very bright place. It's very, very bright and beautiful.
And what are you doing there?
It's like he is holding my hand and he is just with me. And I just feel emotional.
Okay, just let it out. Why does it make you feel emotional?
Because I miss him. Because where I'm from, he's always there. He's part of my family. And he is very close to me. And this is my family. And I had to leave my family to come here. And as I look around, I realize I have children. And they are like very bright as well. And they are just surrounding me.
How many children do you have?
I have a lot. I have so many. I don't know. Maybe 60 or 70. I don't like I don't know exact number because I've lived so long time. I know that seems a bit silly, but there's a lot of them. And then there's ones that he has had with other beings. And I consider those to be my children as well. And there's ones that I've had with other beings. And I consider those to be my children as well. So probably like thousands and thousands of them. But you know, the ones here, they're like the angel ones, the archangel children. And you know, I do see them. I have seen these ones before. And they're very bright.
And any of them have incarnated here with you this time around?
And there's not in my family. There's some that have incarnated on Earth. One of Thoth's children incarnated on Earth. I don't think any of the children with Apollo have that Lumina had with Apollo have incarnated on Earth at this time. They are assisting.
Are they assisting with your incarnation or?
Yeah, they help me, but it's like they also help the Earth and the solar system and this process. It's like we work in a big team together.
It's definitely hard incarnating here without your family, isn't it?
Yeah, they had a big family and I love them very much. And it was like I couldn't remember them. I love them very much.
Is that done on purpose that when we incarnate here, we don't remember our three versions of ourselves, don't remember our family?
It's like, it was made for learning, but it was made a lot worse, so we would barely remember anything. It would barely remember anything at all. It was like it was tweaked to be a detriment instead of something that you can learn from. That's why people are so forgetful. But I promised my family that I wouldn't forget. And I think they did believe. They did believe in me. They knew I could do it. So it was it was like I prevailed. I prevailed against the matrix of the earth that was tweaked by the dark one. It was like, yes, some of us are prevailing and actually, despite what happens, we still like sign through because there are more important things in life than there's more important things in life than what you're told about. It's like love is actually stronger than any anything that they could do to you. And when starseeds remember, it's like they prove that, and it's very powerful. It's like I just see this matrix is coming undone. It's coming undone because we prevailed and we believed in love. Because of our power within, it unravels it. And we begin to remember who we are.
Is that why there's so many things crumbling at the moment now?
Yeah, it's like it just can't withstand it anymore. And it's all going to change.
Where do you meet Apollo? Is it in the astral that you go visit him, or does he come down?
It's like my beingness. There's a part of me that is always like with him up there. And then there's that part of me that is down here, but he visits both parts because he recognizes that even though I can be in any places in the universe at the same time, he recognizes that the part of me that's down here, the 40% of the soul, the fragment of that, still gets very lonely and sad. And he comes back to just, I'm seeing that he just puts like a drop of light on me to awaken me to begin with, so that I could begin to remember. And he was just always there, even if I didn't know.
That's definitely important, isn't it? That you can know that they are always there for you.
And just seeing he was always there. He never left. It's just that my perception, I forgot and I couldn't see him. But he was there every time. I just seeing he was there when I was opening my Christmas presents. He just wanted he wanted to be there all the times, especially the days when I was very happy. So I'm just seeing myself as a child and I'm opening my presents, but he was there, but I just couldn't see him. He's just sitting. I'm sorry.
Okay.
He's just sitting on my grandparents' chair and he's just watching and smiling. Just, happy that I was happy. It was Christmas Day. And I see him and I'm blowing out my birthday candles and he was there. He didn't really leave. I just couldn't see him. He's just part of he's part of my family, my Elohim's family, and he just loves me very much.
And what would he, if he had something, a message for you, what do you reckon he would say to you?
Doing great. I'm so excited to see what you're doing every day. And he says that he comes to all of my sessions, and he's very excited. And he really he loves it when he's mentioned as well. He thinks that's really cool. He thinks that what I'm doing is really cool and really helpful for everyone and the whole planet.
Absolutely.
And he thinks it's really important what we're doing with educating people into the true nature of who they are. Because he said that he put that message out there on the temple, that, you know, it was a channeled message from him. Do you know there's a place in Greece where the Oracle of Delphi used to be, in that temple, and there's a place on that temple with a message from him, and it's actually a channeled message from him to know thyself. And this is what this is all about. His message is about knowing yourself truly, and that is that is how you're going to do everything from now on. That is a really important teaching and something that he left for me to know myself, because he knew that I would incarnate one day here. He knew that I would. And so he wanted me to, I guess, just to have a message from him, to look inside myself and figure out who I am, and for other people to look inside themselves as well. Because, you know, when one person does it, it starts a chain reaction. And we all start listening to God inside of our heart, like that perfect place of love, our soul, who we truly are. And we find that and we listen to that. And that place will lead you where you need to go, always. It's like a little light that's going to show you the way. It's going to show you the way to the new earth. And it's like something that he left with people. This very simple phrase that he left with people that will show them the way. Show them the way to ascension and to all of the things that they need to do. And it's through knowing themselves that they'll find this.
And what can everybody do to bring about the new earth changes? apart from doing it?
Apollo is showing me the light. You need to respond to the light codes that we give. And it's like you can do this in many different ways. You can visualize the light coming within you. And he says that even if you can't see the light within you, you can go outside and the light's always there. And you can get the light through any sort of means. You just open yourself up to the light, and then all the information will come in. And sometimes you can go into meditation, and if you want to connect with him, he'll show you how to do this. He has a really special way of awakening you to what you need to do with the light. Like he beams it out through his eyes. So this was how he awakened me. It was through just looking at me in a dream. He opened his eyes and he beamed out his love for me. Just, and in that it contained information about everything about who I am and about who he is and and like my soul, like as an Elohim being. And in one sort of blink of light, he shone that at me, and that was all that he needed to do to start the rapid awakening process that has occurred over the last couple of years to do with me. And that was how he did it. He shone, he came into me and he shone his light through his eyes. And then when I connected to that again and again, I'm seeing the light went through the different parts of my body, all through my veins, all through my cells. And this is how I began to awaken far more fully. So it's like he's done this for me, but he also helps this with other people.
And how do we ask for his help if we wanted to?
You just need to call for his name or his essence that is it feels very, very warm, like a warm summer's day. And it feels like warm and comforting, yet like just invigorating and fresh and free. And and it's easier to I guess call for him by feeling his energy rather than even saying his name necessarily, because you can say the name and then feel these feelings of warmth and comfort. And you won't get imposters that pretend to be him that way. Like, because, you'll know which one is him because he feels so warm and comforting. You'll know straight away. And he wants to help people. He wants to help people more, participate more. So this is a great way to do it. And
Okay.
he'll begin to show you a lot of things and to awaken. It's like the light within him makes everyone else's light really bright as well.
Mhm.
And I see that I have this ability as well because, like, we're very much the same,
Mhm.
in a sense.
So is that part of what your lower self is doing here on the earth?
Yeah, yeah. It's like I'm the feminine version of this being, and my light can make others shine bright as well. That is the purpose of my ray of light and his ray of light. So when we beam out, it makes everyone else really bright as well. Because everyone is so special and loved.
Is there anything else that you want us to know about that?
He can also help with your body. He can also help with healing the body. He can show people how to heal their bodies. And he's done it to me as well. He's helped me with my body.
Mhm.
And he helps people with eating like the best food for them and the sort of exercise that you may need as well. He's really good at all of these things. And for just enlightenment in general, he's just so many things that he's really, really helpful with doing so many things.
Mhm. Do we need to ask the conscious mind to recede a little bit more before we continue with the questions?
Yes, that would be preferable.
Okay, we'll ask Elizabeth conscious mind to recede a little bit more so we can continue on.
Okay, I am back into the body.
Um,
You can ask your questions now.
okay, thank you. So she wanted to know about what is happening underground and what you were doing underground.
We were doing so many things underground. this is where a lot of my lower self depression came from, because Apollo and I were doing missions, and we came across some things that were really, really horrible in the earth, like, you know, what the rumors talk about to do with the children, this
Mm-hmm.
this type of thing. So the angels have missions to go down and to assist with this. So this is not the case that angels are feeling happy and good emotions all of the time. We have to go into difficult situations some days, and it's very, very difficult for us. And if you can imagine what we were feeling, you can just imagine what the earth was feeling in its body as these things take place. This is why the earth screamed to begin with, because each time these things happen, the effects are astronomical. It just goes out like a negative ripple. This type of black magic activity. And so we were going into some of these places, and I was collapsing or helping to collapse some of these funnels, and they had explosives down there to blow up some of these places, and I put my energy into here to blow out and to destroy them completely. So there is not much left, and to just clear this energy from the earth. There is so much trauma that goes on here that we have to clear out, not only the physical aspects, but the energy here. It needed to be cleared out completely, just to make things so much easier for this process. But there was some things that my lower self saw when she had a nap in the middle of the day. She, for a second, her soul aspect came into another part of my beingness that was doing this, and I blew myself up, and then the soul aspect of myself went back to this body, and she felt very, very hot, very, very hot when she woke up because of all of the energy. But it was like she, my soul aspect, just wanted to experience for a moment what it was like to do these things. But I have very much a connection with all of my beingness, no matter where it is. So I am, and she is always, we are one. We are always feeling. Of course, you do not forget your soul aspect, no matter where you are in the universe. I am very, very aware of myself in this body, in here, very aware at all times. So there was another time underground that we came across some dead bodies of children thrown about because these child traffickers and Satanists just left the bodies here. They panicked and just killed them, and it was not good. When we came in, we had to walk over these dead bodies, Apollo and I, and this instance affected my lower self, and she became very depressed and didn't want to get out of bed, but she didn't know what the matter was. She didn't know what had taken place. She just knew that something had happened, but she didn't know what it was. She was very, very confused and very, very depressed. And so Apollo was very unhappy that day as well, and we consoled each other. Please, we weren't directing our eyes up and telling each other not to look at the ground, not to look there. And when we came out of that, we were very, very upset and teary. And it was very, very emotional for us. And I'm just seeing we went into a ship, and he is pushing me into the healing chamber. He say, you need to go in, and I'm like, no. And I was very, very upset and traumatized, and he put me into the healing chamber, and then I went in there, and I felt a bit better afterwards. But I was in quite a state, and he had to bundle me up and put me in there, because when I looked, they tell me not to look at the ground, but I looked at what was there on the ground, and it was very unpleasant. And so I can't believe that humans would do this to children. I can't believe that humans would do this to each other, but to innocent children that didn't do anything wrong. They didn't do anything wrong to deserve this. And I don't understand. I don't understand why humans would do this. I know there's lots of dark entities around these types of humans, but there is still the free will component. You can choose not to do these things, but I don't understand why humans would do this. And I guess it is like humans in this instance. Some of them have become monsters themselves beyond recognition.
How much of the stories that we hear are true?
In regards to the children,
Yeah.
all of them, it's even worse than what you think. It's even worse, and it has been going on in the royal families for a much longer time than you are aware.
Mm-hmm.
They have been practicing this type of thing, this black magic.
What does it consist of? What's the idea behind it?
The idea behind it is this is a lot of what some beings have taught humans, some dark energies and beings taught them these things so that these beings can feed off of this energy. And then the beings, this is their food source, and it is like a currency. It's like a type of currency. So when humans do this type of thing, it's like a currency for these entities. So then these entities will do something for this person. They will make something happen for this person. They will make what they want to come about, whether it be power or I don't know. You know, a lot of them wanted power over the world and lots of money and materialistic things, and I don't know, just stuff that doesn't matter to us. It doesn't matter, but they wanted this stuff. So they made dark deals with beings to get it. The power structure of, well, the old world was only put in place because of deals with beings. It was not natural.
Are these part of the dark reptilians that you call them, or?
Yes, they can do this as well. So some people mistakenly think that these are demonic beings, but they are, well, when you take a look, they are reptilian beings. They just look like on the astral realm, like a black sort of shape. So you might think that they are demonic beings, but they are a reptilian being. And of course, there was fallen angel type of things. And when I talk about fallen angels, I mean that there was ones that went on a different path. They were curious and went a different way. And it happens to all beings, really. But, you know, you can go through a very dark phase from being very curious. And I guess I'm not so unhappy with the fallen angels. I'm not so unhappy with them as much as I am unhappy with, well, what humans have chosen to do, because you can always not listen to this type of thing. This is always a choice. But the dark ones on the earth, what they chose to do to their children and to the rest of the population was, we are still wondering and shaking our heads at this whole thing. The dark ones in human bodies. And it's like this, somehow this doesn't make sense even more than fallen angels and reptilians. And it's like people had a choice. And I guess the fallen angels and reptilians had a choice too, but it's not like they could be doing these these sacrifices themselves half the time. It takes somebody without a conscience and maybe a knife and I'm not going to go into detail about how they do these ceremonies because I think that people are aware that these things happen.
Mm-hmm. With the removal of the old forces, how are we proceeding with the newer?
Well, it's a process. It's a long process. But on the astral realm, this is mostly cleaned up at the moment. This has been, the majority of it has been cleaned out. So what you see before you is, well, the ones in the human bodies. They are mostly, well, let's just say that the ones on the top of the pyramid of power, that group was taken out. They were taken out by, well, what you would call that military group, the white hats. So the top of the pyramid has already been taken out.
Mm-hmm.
It is just the ones in the middle that need to be taken care of now. So maybe the layer underneath the top as well has been taken out. So the worst of the worst has been removed, but there is so many humans that participated in this evil scheme. So many, even they just, even the ones that were puppets that just went along with it, they're part of it too. Even the ones that just turn a blind eye to this type of thing and let it go on. And it's like they're part of it too. And when I talk about how I'm upset that humans are so stupid, I am meaning like these ones in particular. Because why would you do this kind of thing to a child? For your ego, for money, for power, for whatever type of thing. I'm seeing there's lots of celebrities that only got to the position that they got to because they sold their soul to the devil, so to speak. They decided to participate in certain things and they have videos of them doing these things.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how they became a celebrity because they're just a puppet. So I have the greatest contempt for these celebrities. There is no amount of fame or anything that could excuse that sort of thing. I'm seeing that they will have to be repaying this for many, many lifetimes afterwards. You were so much of a loser that you were so desperate for clout and fame that you wanted to kill a child or molest one. Then you shouldn't be famous to begin with, in my opinion. You're just a creep.
Absolutely. Can we send some healing through to all those kids that have been molested in their lifetime and haven't been able to break away from that?
Yes, this is so necessary. I will send that to the children.
Thank you.
Beautiful, loving light. And I'm seeing all of the Elohim and Apollo are joining in. They are all providing an activation, all of them. The angels and the Elohim, and we are all providing for today. This is it's very, very good to be gathered as one and participating in. It just makes it much stronger for the children of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So you can continue on, and this will occur throughout the entirety of the session.
Thank you for that. Are the Elohim connected to the Galactic Federation?
Yes, we are like the overseers of the overseers in this instance, but we look out for the Federation. I'm just seeing that sometimes we come down and we have meetings, and I'm seeing Apollo. He's having meetings with some of the Pleiadian beings that are part of this federation, and he is assisting the Pleiadian the military groups that are resisting with the Earth at this time. And he is assisting them with the reptilian removal.
Mm-hmm.
His expertise is particularly good in this area. So if they have any problems in relation to the removal of very dark forces, they go straight to him, and he is helping out with this. And we made some jails for interdimensional beings on the earth. Some of these jails, they are dependent on the type of beings in them, like the security level and how dangerous the beings are. So he is participating in this as well, and throughout the removal of all of these type of things on this level, he is helping the Galactic Federation with this. And I'm also seeing Athena. She is giving instruction to them as well. She is very involved with this. And she is also incarnated on Earth, a small part of her soul, just like me, in a body.
Who is Athena?
She is one of great wisdom, and she is my sister. And she has curly dark hair. And I'm seeing she's wearing a long cape, and sometimes she wears a crown, and sometimes she wears a helmet. She is like, well, all my sisters are my favorite, but I really like her. And the last time we were on Earth, and she helped me out, and I helped her out. in cleaning up the forces, and we often work together. She is very, very, I would say she is very timely with her operations. Like everything is very perfect. She is like very, 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 very intelligent.
Mhm.
And she is very, 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 very skilled at all of this, at the liberation of the earth. And I see we have meetings, and she makes some suggestions to me, and I make some suggestions to her, and we are planning some things. And I say that she pointed out some places on the earth and said, we have notification that there might be some very, very dark beings hiding here. I would like you to go and investigate. So often she was like sending me on some missions because she knows that I'm very good at being stealthy and hunting for things.
Mhm.
So she is telling me it would be good to hunt here and here. And so she wanted me to hunt for some things. And then I caught some. She is a very, very good leader.
How
And
many?
we work together. Sorry, you can go on.
Who is in the Galactic Federation? What does it consist of?
It consists of many different beings, especially the beings from this galaxy. So the races of higher beings from the Milky Way galaxy. So at the top you have the Arcturian beings, are the caretakers of this place and this galaxy. And then Pleiadians as well, and quite a few others. And then there's federations that come from other galaxies, such as the Andromedan. But what you would know as the Galactic Federation is mostly the Milky Way. This is like a federation that exists in the Milky Way and protects the Milky Way, protects this particular galaxy in particular. But there has been so much trouble in this place that even federations from other galaxies and many galaxies afar have come to assist. And on the different levels, like the Federation of Light, which is very high dimensional level that is above all of that even. So you have ones that are coming down on a dimensional sense and ones that are coming across from all different sorts of areas in the universe. And then even the Elohim, of course. And it's a pretty big deal if the Elohim have to come down for an intervention.
Okay, thank you for that. About the occultism in World War II, I heard the Nazis were trying to locate the Elohim bloodlines. Can we speak in depth about this?
Oh yes, Apollo, he he gave some of this information to me, to my lower self, to investigate this. So in World War II, that the Nazis became very involved in, well, black magic and occultism, that sort of thing that I talked about with these beings and asking for power and whatnot. And they got some information from these beings. They got some information about Atlantis,
Mm-hmm.
and they got information about things that happened in the past, like the sorts of things that I've been talking about, the real history of the earth. So these beings were telling the Nazi occultists these type of information, and they were getting particularly interested in it. And the beings also said that the Elohim beings have reproduced on Earth a long time ago, and actually some of their offspring is located in Germany. And they became very, very aware and interested in this, in finding this,
Mm-hmm.
because it would prove to them that that's their plan to, I guess, to take over the world, that Germany was like the most preferable country to do that. There were certain types of occultists who were, I guess, working for Satanists, and then there was other ones that were very much interested in, well, I guess, nationalism, in a sense, that their people would be the best people and that they could have domination. And so they were looking around for evidence of this happening, so that they could prove that, well, I guess that Germany was better than others because it contained, and Europe was better than other countries because it contains the blood of the gods.
Mm-hmm.
But fortunately, the families that were Elohim were moved to different places. They just moved to other places before this time, and so they weren't found out. None of the Elohim bloodlines were located. They tried to look for them, but these families were protected, divinely protected, and they moved elsewhere because of a very long divine plan, I guess, that has been in place for a very long time. So my family and the other Elohim families that later became the bodies for the Elohim star seeds, they moved to other places. And for example, there was some that went to America, and my family went to Australia, and they didn't need to be hunted down by the Germans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were Austrian and German, my family, or my blood family in this body. But yes, they didn't find them. This family that provided my body went to Australia. And the original Elohim that mated with a woman a very long time ago in Europe that provided this. It was Apollo, of course, because everything comes around in a circle like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Apollo's bloodline that they were looking for. That's why he has so much knowledge of this. He was looking after them. He was making sure that they didn't get hurt. He was always looking after them.
What was the agenda behind the them killing and hunting down the Jews? Was this part of it, or?
Yes, I'm seeing that some of them had Elohim bloodlines as well.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them did, but I'm seeing that this is part of a bigger conspiracy as well, to turn Israel into a state that would actually be a Nazi state, and people don't realize this.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people were killed. Lots and lots of people were killed. And this was because of Satanists on both sides. They were making sure that their greater plan was working. So even if they had to use the Nazis for a particular purpose, they wanted to make sure that this came about. So they were playing on both sides, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And they used the Nazis for this purpose, and they used the Jews for this purpose to advance. They used all of these forces for this purpose. They infiltrated all of these forces, these Satanist forces. It's like people didn't realize, but the enemy was among them all along. They didn't realize that they were being fooled.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody realized that they were being fooled. And then there was Satanists on the American and Allied side, and then there was ones in the Nazi side. And to be honest, all of these ideologies, and like Nazism, even in the Allied side, it's like Nazism. People just didn't realize it. So after World War II ended, I'm seeing that some of these high-ranking ones went to America and continued that way and infiltrated over there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And well, you can see how that worked out. So it was a big sham. It was a big false flag. The whole of World War II. It was a big sham. It was a scam. It scammed everyone and killed so many people and made the earth suffer so much that she screamed again.
Why?
I'm just seeing it. It's just so senseless.
Why did they kill the kids? Why didn't they allow the kids to?
The children in
Mm-hmm.
particular,
Yeah.
well, the children are very bright. They are very bright when they come out. Very, very bright and special. And it's like God is very, very strong in them. When they come out, their soul is very, very bright.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hurt something like this, it hurts so many beings that you don't even have an awareness of. Like it hurts the angels, it hurts God, it hurts the source, it hurts the earth. It sends out a negative shock wave, like to hurt a child. It is more painful for the universe than you can possibly imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. And the children are very pure. So these beings that hang around looking for a feast, they get a very nice feast because their fear is very, very, they're very, very, very scared because of course they are very pure.
Mm-hmm.
So these dark beings get a delicious meal. And it's very, very sad that people have chosen to do this.
Absolutely. Also about the Nazi knowledge of Atlantis, why were they trying to find it?
Mm. I'm seeing that they were trying to resurrect some of the technologies. These beings told them about the technologies and they had some, I guess, research and study as well into the technologies, and they had reason to believe that this type of technology was existing. Do you know okay, so they actually developed their own UFOs at this time, and this was part of it. They wanted to emulate
Mm-hmm.
what was going on in Atlantis. So they actually got knowledge from reptilian beings and other things, how to build these sort of things. And they wanted to find out more technology. And so they went looking as well for where it was, but especially the red crystals. They wanted to find the red crystals most of all, the crystals that destroyed Atlantis. They wanted to find this. But they were not able to do so because this was divinely protected and they were not going to ever find this stuff. Never ever. There are very protective beings, mermaids, that hid them away. And they will never find this type of thing.
And what were the Nazis trying to find the loss of civilization in Antarctica?
Well, they knew about this as well, these beings. They told them about the true history of Earth. So they went looking in there and they actually began to find some things and started a base there. So this is what I was talking about a long time ago. They started to, well, in World War II, they started to make bases in Antarctica. And if you know that, well, after the war, suddenly all of these other countries, they made agreements around Antarctica, and you can look this up. But these Satanists and Nazis from around the world, they didn't lose the war at all. Okay. was the same people, just give them different names and then say this, oh, well, this one's the good one, actually. So there was quite a few countries that went to Antarctica after that and began to excavate what they had found, the lost civilization there, which was in one of those type of ancient civilizations that were seeding humans at the time. And they had found ships and some bodies of extraterrestrial beings as well, and many things. And they kept it very secret. And they made sure that no information came out. And there was lots of secret agreements here after the war. This type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that they could keep this knowledge for themselves. Keep this knowledge and see if they can use it against people.
Did they use it against people?
Well, some of the information that they were finding out was so out of their reach that they were too stupid to use it, to be honest.
Mm. I see. The soul of Gaia only has a small percentage in the 3D body and is releasing herself and moving on someday to a new 5D body. Can we talk about that?
Yes, so it was unfortunate that, well, she has decided that at one point that, like I said in a previous session, that she was becoming very suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
So her plan was worked out that she could, well, move to a different body and have her only a small percentage of her soul in the body at the moment. And so she can not be so traumatized, because all of these things that were happening, like to do with the children, it was having an effect on her at such a big level. And of course the atrocities that have been committed, and I will name them here. There was various atrocities throughout history, of course, but then when we got to the Industrial Revolution, things really started to heat up. And then her waters were dirtied and everything was just treated like shit.
Mm-hmm.
And there were children being killed in her body all of the time, and horrible things happening, and indigenous people being murdered on her body all of the time. These indigenous people were the only ones that were really taking care of her at this point, and they just murdered them. They just murdered most of them. So her only caretakers were killed, and this had a big effect on her, because these were the only ones that ever loved her. These indigenous people were the only ones that really took care of her, and they were being just killed every single day, and their ways forgotten. And so this is when she noticed her friends. She noticed her indigenous friends killed, and this is when she started the first scream, and Her body was so dirtied, and the indigenous people, her friends, had been killed. And yes, of course, she loved them very much because they treated her very kindly.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is what caused the first one. And then the second one was when they exploded the atomic bomb on her, and she realized what had taken place. And they just kept exploding these bombs on her and killing children. And it was getting worse and worse. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit upset. It just kept getting worse and worse, and they kept killing children in her body and doing all kinds of things. And then they decided to kill a whole heap of people in the atomic bomb attack on Japan. And this really screwed up Japan.
Mm-hmm.
As I said before, Japan is very, very dysfunctional now because of this, and Japan was a very magical and beautiful place beforehand, and the spirits were very happy. As soon as this happened, the spirits just, everything attracted dark ones, and it became very ill. This place, it got sick. It got a sickness that continues today in how the people treat each other. Spiritual sickness in this place. So that's why I had to live there to help this place, and why I had to, when I was maybe 17 years old, I visited Hiroshima, and that was to see light to this place where it had happened. The other scream had come out,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very, very terrible in here especially. And then they did more things like what you would know as geoengineering, like HARP. And of course they dig into her body and pollute and hurt and digging big holes and get out all of the coal because they are so greedy. They have the free energy, they have the technology for this already, but they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it because they are so stupid. They want control more than they want anything else. And so I can't even list all of the things really, but the HARP as well, this was a big problem with weather modification.
Mm-hmm.
And they are just altering her natural courses and ways of doing things, ways of helping the energy around her body. And they altered it and made it bad. And then they did earthquake technology, which people are going to be shocked about when this comes out. And it's very, very dark, and they hurt her very badly to do this. This is the sort of technology that was used to sink Lemuria. It was used to sink this continent. And they brought it back, and they used it on the Indonesia tsunami
Mm-hmm.
and the Japan tsunami. And they used this to make people in those countries capitulate to the dark ones. as a threat, and that the Satanists were going to bring down the entire continent of Japan in this year of 2022 or 2022 or 2023. I can't remember times. If they didn't get, if they didn't get their way, they were just going to bring the entire continent down. But by now, but they were cleaned out and they can't do this anymore. So at least Japan was saved, but they were going to do this. They were going to do this. They were going to even bring that down. It was going to be so much more terrible than what you even think if there wasn't this intervention here. But this is just a little taster of some of the horrible things that they were doing to the earth. So you can get a feeling as to why she wanted to leave the body. So a plan was put in place for her so she wouldn't suffer so much. And so that means that only a small percentage of the soul is in the body. And that she is just keeping this like a waiting room for the humans, and then she is pulling out. She is very, very kindly to them. However, you can see even by the things that I listed, it is the worst of the worst. It is absolute scam. So I had to list all of the things just so people would understand why this is taking place.
Tell us about the new soul who is coming into the 3D body.
So when she is going out and she leaves the waiting room and this dissolves, there is going to be a new one that is going to inhabit this planet. And I don't think people will like her. She is very different. She is, well, how can I say? She is much more of a beach. Gaia, she was very, very gentle, very, very kindly. If you slapped her, she would turn the other cheek. But this new one, she is providing balance, great balance that is needed. She is providing balance, and people will feel that something is very different about the energy. And she is very loving, but she will not take any more of this behavior. I'm just saying if there are crimes, terrible crimes on a particular part of the world, she will not necessarily turn the other cheek. She will earthquake this place, or make sure that the beings in this place are taken care of, let's just say. And if there are weather modification or facilities to hurt her body, she is not going to put up with this so much. She will stand her ground a lot more. This is what is necessary for the humans, actually, because they can't be doing this. So if you punch her, she will punch you back. She is not want to be toyed with this new soul. She is like me, so I don't take any shit, and she won't take any shit too. So if you hurt her, you need to prepare yourself, because she will not take it lying down. So Gaia, she was very, very gentle, and she was meant to be a paradise. So her spirit was very, very gentle. So when you are under new management, I guess you will find out what that means.
Yeah, we're looking forward to see what the changes are.
I quite like this type of planet goddess energy. Well, she is similar to me. When I was a planet and people blew me up, I just let them blow me up so that they would get a spank on their own bottom and that they would die. You know, I didn't care so much. Gaia, she cares very, very much. She is soft love. Some planets, their spirits are, okay, hard love. You will learn. But this is a good matchup for the humans, you know. They have to learn. They have to learn. They have to have some tough love. This is good teacher for them, especially the third dimensional ones. I mean, if you want to go to the new earth, that is possible, but you are going to have to do some work.
Will the new soul that will have no tolerance for the humans hurting it?
No, people are going to get very surprised and figure out very quickly that something is different. Let's just say the planet will not react the way that it reacted before. And this could look like a number of things. But of course, you can tell if the personality of something changes. Like, for example, they could, cut open to her body again and make another mine. And then there is a big earthquake in this area, and then this is filled in. And it's like, sorry, you can't do this anymore. They will learn very quickly that something different has happened.
What will happen to the humans who are too stupid or selfish to see the error of their ways?
Well, they are going to pass away, I guess. There's not much that can be done. Like,
would they be reincarnated on another 3D world?
They will have to be reincarnated somewhere else. However, they will be carefully watched, let's just say. And be carefully watched to make sure that there is no contamination and silly business. These beings, when they go out of their body, they're going to get a talking to that they're not going to like. Especially the ones that have been doing this sort of thing to children. And they are going to get a very rude shock that they're not going to like. And sometimes I'm seeing even these darker ones that come out of their body. There is a group of angels that catch them, like how they would do to a demonic entity. And this is very sad for them, because these were originally, just human people reincarnating on the earth, but because they have participated in so much crap, they are being treated like a demonic energy, which they have unfortunately almost become. So they are caught as soon as they pass away by angels. And this is quite surprising for them. And they wonder what is going on. Well, you know what is going on. You know exactly what is going on. And then they have the life review in the little room where they have to feel all the things that they did to other people. And the angels are like, wow, you really did all of that, you shithead. Well, you know, they're not judging like I am, but honestly, like, this is just my sense of humor. Because it's really, really terrible, this type of thing, these types of things that they do. So I have to make humor out of it sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Is this the life review? Does this go into an archive where everybody's going to be able to see, like what people have
Yes.
under behind closed doors?
Yes, well, actually, you can check it out right now on the Akashic records. Everything is there. If you wanted to, you can read them for some of these individuals
Mm-hmm.
who have done these things on Earth. You can go up and you can read them on the Akashic records. It's all there. Everything is in plain as day. You can read it. Mind you, it might be very difficult to look at, but you can discover for yourself what these people have done through this method.
Is that
You
what?
can find out all of their dirty secrets. So I encourage people to do so.
How do you do that? How would you do that?
Well, there are various books on how to read the Akashic records, but you generally, when you are in a human body, you go into a meditation,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go up and then you ask to see. You use your name and you ask to see the records, and the record keeper will assist you. And the record keeper, I'm just seeing he is right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I am just letting him know that, well, if you, and he's just telling me, if you want to see these sort of things, we caution you not to until you are quite ready for what you are going to see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just letting him know that some people, if they want to go looking, they can find it in this sense. But he cautions people, you will not like what you are looking at.
Fair enough. What do people call the Clarendon call?
Clarendon call, like an angel call.
Hmm.
This is like hearing angel song for the first time. So when people have an experience of hearing the angel song, and sometimes people, this can happen for people who are more sensitive to the energies. They can actually hear the angel song.
Hmm.
And so this gives them like a download for them. And it wakes them up to higher truths of being. It wakes their beingness up in a way that is so profound to listen to this angel song and to hear it. So you can request to listen to song, to listen to some angel song. Angel song has light language in it, has powerful light language. And Elohim song has light language. And we all have this language that is the creation language. So when you hear this sort of thing, it is very profound, of course. So you can request these songs being sung to you in your dream state or astral state. You can ask before you go to sleep to receive angel song, your clarion call to what you need to do in your life. You can request to hear the special light language song that will wake you up and start to activate you in various ways. You can request to this before you go to bed. Ask the angels for this.
So what would you say when people are waiting for a clarion call, and that's going to be like the shift of the new earth?
Well, you can have the shift anytime you want, really. You can, like, why would you wait? Why would you wait when you can start the process now on an individual level and start to awaken yourself now? Nobody else is. There is going to be a lot of lagging behind, people lagging behind. So, like, why not just get started with your own, what you are doing? You don't need to wait for everyone else. You can have your call and wake up on your level at the time that you request to have it. You don't need to wait for everyone else. This is what I'm going to say.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, just going back to the last question, is that why so many people are scared to die? Because they don't know what they're gonna see on the other side, or with the because there's a misconception that there's going to be God judging you and you're going to go to heaven or hell. And
well, the Satanists have good reason for being scared of death. That's why they prolong their life with various bullshit. Because of course they will have to view what they have done. And it can be so painful for some souls that it sends one into a state of a coma almost, like they are put in a coma because otherwise they might go insane from viewing the things that they have done to others, which is it's a crazy kind of concept because they did these things, but for the ordinary people, some of them are atheists and are scared that when they die, that is all that is, They have not yet gone into other parts of their beingness. They do not believe in that kind of thing, even though it is actually always there for them. They get scared because they think that this is the end of their existence, but it is not. And so it would be helpful for people to actually do some introspection work, because a lot of these people are very materialistic and they are so, I guess, attached to the physical in every sort of way. They are just so attached to the physical. So when the physical dies, then they think that they die. It is insane. Anyway, because, of course, we know that there are, and even science is proving now that there are so many things you don't know about, so many dimensions beyond the physical, blah, blah, blah. And still these people, they are like old men and they are keeping outdated sort of things. And they are very physical focused, these types of people who are scared of this type of thing. So, they are typically the sort of people who would get scared enough to put a little needle in their arm, for example, because they are so scared of death that they cling to the physical so much and they don't listen to anything in their heart. They don't listen to the instructions. They are just walking around like a worm, no eyes, just wiggling around in the dirt. And that is how I see these people. They're like worms wriggling around in the dirt without eyes. But even worms might have a higher knowing. It's really sad.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else that you want us to know about that?
I think it would be useful for people to actually go within a lot more instead of listening to outside, because you're going to see very quickly that the things that are going on outside, whether it be spiritual gurus or this one or that sort of influencer or this one or that one, you're going to see that maybe it's not something that you want to listen to. Maybe if you go within, you are figuring out the real truth, not the fake truth, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Is that that story that came out from the Dalai Lama about is that
Yeah.
to expose him of
Yep. He was doing this to the kids, so they are putting him on blast. He had to do this to, I guess, capitulate, so that he has like a sort of program where he has to reveal his deeds. Otherwise, he was going to get killed.
okay.
Because he was doing some very grabby things. This man is not who you think he is. None of them are. If you do some research, you can find him with all sorts of grabs. He's taking pictures with different grabby people who did horrible things to the children and to the earth. And so he's having his picture taken with, well, the Yaqui people. I'm trying not to be judgmental, but if you know the sorts of things that I know, it is very, very hard to just be, I'm trying not to be. I'm trying to be very kindly, but I need to tell the truth to people. These people are grabs. You will not like it when you hear this sort of thing.
Yeah, especially if the people you've been following and looking up to.
Yes, and you figure out that they're frauds who do disgusting things because they are perverts. They are perverts.